And welcome back in, Retriever fans. After a week hiatus, we're back with the UMBC Baseball Weekly Report. The UMBC Baseball head coach Liam Bowen recapping the week that was, looking ahead to the week that will be. Coach, welcome back in.
Thank you, Dave. Good to get off the road recruiting and get back to doing this. Appreciate it.
No problem. So the Retrievers are 14-18, 5-7 in the league. Got swept by Maine a couple weeks ago. Lost 2 of 3 at Lowell last weekend. Lost to Georgetown on Tuesday, and then yesterday they beat UMES 19-1 as we're recording this. So, Coach, a lot to get through, a lot of games to unpack. Let's start with that Maine series quickly. A team that came in and seemed to just not – they found the field every at-bat, got a lot of hits, scored a lot of runs.
Yeah, not our best work, clearly. I thought Saturday we showed some good, competitive spirit to fight back into that game, but clearly just had a really hard time containing Maine's offense. The park played small. We were really inconsistent on the mound, and it was just a real challenge. It was something where I just don't think we put our best foot forward and played our style of baseball really at all. So the best thing about what we do is we play over 50 of these games. We have 14 weekends. That was one to learn from, to kind of lick our wounds and to move on from. There wasn't a lot good I could say about it, other than the fight back on Sunday. I thought was pretty good, and really more than pretty good. It was very good. I mean, the guys were down 10. We fought all the way back to have a chance to win. Saturday, I think I said Sunday, so excuse
Saturday,
me there. But that game too, we were able to make it competitive. But just a situation where some off days on the mound and going up against a good veteran lineup, it got really tough, no question.
And then this past weekend, you were up at UMass Lowell. You went 1-2 in that series. Another good comeback win on Sunday in extra innings. Talk about that series, especially that comeback win on Sunday to close it out.
Sunday was super encouraging. We were really pleased with Sunday. Down 6-2 in the 8th, we scored 4, scored 3 in the 10th. We have Shane Gorman come in, give us 9 up, 9 down to hold them and ultimately get the victory. So that was a great conference win. The games before that were unfortunately like a little bit of a microcosm of our season. 2 one-run losses. I believe our 6th and 7th one-run losses of the year. So, that's where we are right now. I think the main series was a little bit more of an aberration, frankly, where we just played pretty poorly. But right now we're a team that's really competitive. The vast majority of the games on our schedule, really competitive in our conference. We have to get one step better, to turn some of these into W's, some of these close losses. And I think it starts – there's a lot of areas, obviously, in a baseball game where if you lose by 1, you can be a little bit better and you can turn the game in your favor. I think it just starts for us looking at the last 2 weekends and then this past midweek, just being able to throw more strikes and be more consistent on the mound. When we do that, I think we're a pretty good team. I think we have a good opportunity to beat anybody on our schedule. And in our sport, when you don't do that, it's really easy to lose because that's kind of where it starts. You have to fill up the zone and attack hitters. So on Sunday, I thought we saw that. Like I said, Shane coming in at the end really gave us that, with 9 up, 9 down, filling up the zone. Luke Johnson gave us a great start Friday night. We thought was a really unlucky loser of that game. 2-1 defeat. And Jaden Shurtell's been giving us good innings as a freshman in the midweek rotation, or in the weekend rotation, excuse me. And I think that's pretty rare, or I know that's pretty rare in our league to have a freshman come in and be competitive. So definitely a good bounce back weekend, I think, from certainly from a pitching standpoint, and maybe a little bit unlucky to go out of there 1-2, but we saw some good things.
And then a busier midweek this week. Had a game Tuesday against Georgetown, and then Wednesday at UMES. Break down that Georgetown game, a loss on Tuesday as we're recording this, and then yesterday, Wednesday, a 19-1 win against UMES.
Sure. So the Georgetown game was disappointing. I thought Nick Remy gave us a great start as a freshman, a group of underclassmen pitchers that have been really competitive for us. And in the middle innings, we just simply didn't throw enough strikes. There's no real way to sugarcoat that. And that was kind of the flip side of what I was just talking about. When we're able to fill up the zone and challenge hitters the way that we need to, then I think we're a pretty good team. And when we don't, you get results like we did on Tuesday. So yeah, that's disappointing this deep in the season to have an off night like that midweek in the bullpen. It's just an area where we need to become much more consistent to be the team that we want to be by the end of May, when we're playing in the America East tournament. So yeah, one that we got to get better from. And then yesterday, obviously a more comfortable win against UMES. I thought Joe Puchek was really good. Kind of the reverse of what we had the day before. He was 69% strikes, filled up the zone, gave us 7 innings. We had used a bunch of pitchers more than we wanted to against Georgetown. So Joe had to kind of step into a role where he was giving some other guys a break, and I thought he was outstanding. And then obviously able to take advantage of some mistakes and score a bunch of runs and get a lot of guys in as well. Maybe some guys who haven't played as much, which I think is really positive too, particularly on a double midweek. So 1-1 on the midweek. Crystal clear what we need to do to be better. We need to be more consistent, particularly out of our bullpen, and just continue to raise our level of play in all areas. These last 6 weeks of the season.
And then I want to talk about Joe Puchek. He said 7 innings, scattered 4 hits, only gave up the 1 run, and had 9 strikeouts. It's got to be encouraging to see him, a guy who's kind of been not consistent, but has been a little bit more consistent midweek for you as a starter. But like you said, getting 7 solid innings after using a lot of pitchers the night before.
It was critical to set us up for this weekend as well. So I was really pleased with him. I thought he got better as he went on too. Was able to throw some more angle down in the strike zone, which is key for him. He's a guy who he can really execute pitches. We've seen him, particularly in inner squads and in bullpens, really just have kind of a separator of an ability to be around the mitt with all 3 of his pitches. And we saw more of that, I think, as he got comfortable yesterday. Early in the season, that was a little bit more hit or miss for him. And it's something that I think he's really capable of because he's just so athletic and has such a good feel for pitching. So to see him kind of settle in and compete and be really comfortable in the middle of the diamond, executing at the level that I think he's capable of, that was, like you said, super encouraging and something we can build on, for the stretch run here.
Then you mentioned it being able to get a lot of guys in yesterday against UMES, giving some of the more normal guys some rest. But a guy, Hunter Rivera, came in off the bench, his first collegiate at bats. He went 2 for 2, had a double, 2 RBIs at the end of the game. It's got to be nice to see some encouragement from, especially like some of these freshmen coming in and being able just to compete and perform right away.
Yeah, I was proud of Hunter. I said something to the group at the end of the game, acknowledging that he was ready to go. We always tell guys who maybe are out of the mix, or even when we come back from break periods like the summer or the winter, just when your number's called, be ready to show off. Be ready to show everybody what you've been working on, to be ready to take the training that we do and the development that we have for all of our players and take it into a game. Be ready to capitalize on that. I thought he was a great example of that. He's a guy who's really had to wait his turn as he's learned a new position. He's transitioned to the outfield, continuing to get better there. Made a nice catch yesterday. But he was ready to go. And I really appreciate that in a young player. I think in our sport, if you try and feel your way into it, I think it's really hard. I just think the sport doesn't reward that mentality at all. We want guys to play with force and to play aggressively. And he was a great example of that. And not the only example. We had some other guys pop off the bench and do a nice job as well. So that's what we're trying to cultivate in this group is guys, being responsible for their own level of confidence, playing with force, being willing to make mistakes at times, but doing it aggressively. And if we can do that as a group, like I mentioned before, starting on the mound, being more aggressive on the mound, and then, having that maybe filter to the rest of the group, I think we got a chance to level up before the end of May, which is what we want.
And then now looking ahead, NJIT this weekend, you start your Division B play round robin against the Highlanders. What are they going to bring? What do you guys have to do to get a couple of wins this series?
Well, another veteran team in our league, bring back a lot of guys from a team that, represented our conference in a regional last year. They're certainly going to be really competitive, and I don't think they're going to beat themselves. And I think they're just a really well coached team. They have a lot of really good leadership from those veterans that I mentioned, and it's going to be about our level of consistency across the series because we're the guys who are playing major roles for our team. We've talked about this before, Dave. Like they're younger than a lot of guys in the conference, which is exciting for us. But it also means that the challenge in most of these weekends is consistency. Veteran players tend to be more consistent than younger players. That's where our younger players are growing and getting better, and they're starting to get more consistent. I'm starting to see that. Like I mentioned, that the start that Nick Remy had midweek and what Jaden Shurtell has been giving us, and Joe Puchek, who's only a sophomore, getting a little bit better, and Luke Johnson's done a nice job for us all year as just a sophomore. Those guys have to match the consistency of some fourth and fifth year players, and that's a challenge. But it's a challenge that we relish because that's the nature of our sport. It rewards consistency. I tell the guys, like, if you can give me excellence or consistency in baseball, I'll take consistency. I really think, you're going to win more games that way, and it's only going to make us better. Because we're a team that is just focused on getting better more so than anything else. Like I haven't checked the standings. It doesn't really matter. Like we just want to be better. This week than we were last week. The week after we want to be better, so on and so forth, all the way through the end of the season.
All right, Coach. Well, as always, thanks for taking the time. Good luck this weekend.
Sure thing, Dave. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Retrievers are back in action this weekend at NJIT Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All 3 games will be on America's TV. And as always, you can keep up to date with UMBC Baseball at umbcretrievers.com and the team's Twitter page at UMBC Baseball.